What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Wax Packs and Warning Tracks. It's Mojobreak's Baseball Card Podcast. I'm Cody. I got Bubba here. Hey, if you're listening to this on release day, happy 4th of July.
Yeah, happy 4th of July, everyone.
Thanks for spending your 4th with us here, your Independence Day, while you're cooking your dogs and burgers and whatever you're doing on this 4th of July weekend. Have a happy, safe, and amazing holiday weekend. And thanks for having us be a little part of it, where we are talking ball, and today we are going to be looking at All-Star Game rosters just announced. It's also a good time. We've reached the official first half point of the season, so it's a good time to look at who are the biggest risers, the players who have fallen the most in the hobby. Plus, Leaf made some news with some minor league baseball products, and of course, we'll do the taxi squad as well. Bubba, what's I got to ask for 4th of July. I feel like baseball has the calendar all to themselves, basically.
Yep.
Do they fully take advantage of it? Does Major League Baseball fully take advantage of having the calendar all to themselves?
No.
I don't think they do either.
They don't. I'm a perennial buyer of the Independence Day hat. I love the jerseys. I like the just the celebration, but no, they don't take advantage of it.
I don't think they do either. I don't think they do either. I think there's one, it's like, it's hard because there's cities, these are all in big cities, so they all have their own big fireworks spectacular at the end of the night. So you can't really have the fireworks spectacular that you feel like should come with having a baseball game on 4th of July. I was looking at the schedule, though, for the weekend. There are marquee matchups. You got Giants, A's. You got Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, Astros.
Okay.
So there are, I feel like they did make an effort to try to schedule some big matchups for the holiday weekend. But, yeah, I feel like they need to do something. Make that rivalry weekend.
Fun enough, too. I'm going to be kind of mooching off some San Jose Giants fireworks.
Only the finest.
Usually one of the better shows.
Only the finest.
Usually one of the better shows.
Yeah.
Around town.
See, we got 2 fireworks spectaculars for the price. That's how you do it.
The
4th of July.
Third? No,
fourth and the fifth.
Fourth and fifth. That's right.
Fourth and the fifth.
Fourth and fifth.
Fireworks spectaculars.
Yep.
For the old San Jose Giants. So that'll be a lot of fun doing that. What are you cooking up on 4th of July?
It's a dog day. It's all dogs.
It's a dog day.
It's a dog day.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, potato salad, baked beans, a lot of hot dogs.
Yeah. Agreed.
Do you do ketchup on your dog?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'm kind of boring sometimes, where sometimes I'll go real, if I'm at a movie, I just go plain. I know. It gets frowned upon. If I'm at a movie, I go plain. If I'm anywhere else, if I'm at a ballpark, I'll have mustard.
The movie dog is its own thing.
The movie dog
you could
alone
go plain.
is first of all, plain. Movie dog is a choice.
Yeah, I'm all about it, but I'm not going plain.
Yeah, see, because it's, for me, I am more of the guy who's I got to be in my seat, when the previews start. So I'm putting all this stuff on it. It's too much time. It's too time consuming.
Yeah, and is the dog gone before the movie starts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Easily. Yeah. Hot dog is reserved for previews.
Yes.
Popcorn is reserved for movies.
There we go.
That's how we do it.
We're on the same page, Cody.
Yeah, this is how we do it. I do occasionally mix in the candy, but yeah, so.
Yeah.
There you go. It's also a big movie weekend. It's 4th of July, man. It's fun.
I just saw the F1 movie. It was fantastic.
Oh, I got to watch it.
It was fantastic.
I really, really want to see that one. It looks awesome. Let's get into some baseball, shall we? This is we're into the second half, essentially, of the season. I know we're not quite at the All-Star break, but we have reached the halfway point in terms of games. So it's time to look at who are the biggest risers, who are the biggest fallers in our hobby. And I feel like we have to start, number one, the All-Star starting lineups were announced yesterday. There were a couple of cool surprises in there. Shout out Jacob Wilson. I think that's awesome. Shout out to a guy, I almost put him in the taxi squad, but it was who's going to buy or sell him at this point? He's been in the league for 12 years. Javier Baez is an all-star starter in the American League. Good for him, man.
He had a crazy 2-week stretch in June. That was just oh, Javi B's back.
Should he be starting? I don't know. I don't think he should.
Shout out Detroit getting the votes in.
Detroit got their votes in. To his credit, he's still batting .284. He's got 9 homers. like he's good enough. He's good in a weaker outfield overall for the American League, because I think like George Springer probably should have gotten in over him, a couple other guys, but overall the field in the American League outfield is a little weaker, so maybe he would have snuck in because he's on the best team in baseball, because it's a nice story that he shifts over center field and like finds himself again, kind of readjusts who he is as a player.
Right.
It's a good story.
Yeah, I mean, that was almost a team that was going to just have the minimum, right? Just the Skubal. Like, you need a representative. Skubal's your guy. We'll move on. And now they're starting to stack it a little bit. So.
Yeah, 3 starters. They're going to have 4 if Skubal lines up where he can start. He's going to be the American League starter. So
Best pitcher in baseball.
They probably end up with like 5, I would say, when it's all said and done. They're a good team.
Tied for the best record in baseball?
They're a good team.
Yeah.
They're a very good team. Riley Green is a really good player, too. He's been excellent. But I almost wanted to talk about him, but we got to talk about the guy who I think is it safe to say he is the hitting story of the season, right? It's Big Dumper. It's Cal Raleigh. A guy that a couple months ago on the hype, I think we did a little buy, sell, or hold segment with all different sports, and I threw Cal Raleigh on there. A raw red First Bowman auto sold in 2024 for $2,300.
Ooh.
Do you want to guess what a raw, or not? It's not raw, but it's a PSA 10 red or PSA 9 red that just sold yesterday.
I'm gonna guess 7,000.
$15,000. The market is healthy for old Big Dumper.
Oh my gosh, Big Dumper.
That is, dude. That to me, made me smile, because I'm like, I was tooting the horn for him last year, being like, man, this guy's underrated. I know he's a catcher, but it seems like people are starting to come around in the hobby on Cal Raleigh.
Yeah.
Kind of have to.
So I remember, like, he was an Eminent guy in the first version of Eminent that came out. And, you know, not the most flashiest of names on the checklist, but every time we pulled him out, people were happy. And I was like, yeah, you have to root for the guy. Mm-hmm. And you bring up the raw sale of that red. Would be really curious to see how that stacks up against some of the other great catchers, guys that have established markets too.
Yeah.
Is there some recency bias going on as well? But yeah, I mean, he's very deserving. I think he should be this good for a long time. How old is
He's 28. So 28. We're right. Okay. We're right in the heart. We're right at the prime years.
He's entering his prime.
And the thing is, it's not like this is. It feels like a shock because he plays in Seattle. And look, we talk about West Coast bias, but no team, I think, gets that more than the Mariners, because they are geographically literally furthest away from everybody other than a few West Coast teams. And even the West Coast teams have to make a trek all the way up the Pacific Northwest to Seattle. They feel like they're on an island over there. So it is easy to kind of forget about them in the national in the national picture. Here's just an indication. This comes from Card Ladder. To me, this is another indication of where his market is just gone bananas. $4,000 on June 22nd. That's a red wave PSA 9 rookie auto of Cal Raleigh. And the same card back in July of last year sold for $535. That's where we're at with the Cal Raleigh market. People have woken up and seen, Big Dumper is the man. But again, I say to the point that people were sleeping on him even before this. 6th most home runs in baseball since his first full season. Since last year, only Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani have more home runs. He's at the point where he's 3rd most, I think, before an All-Star break. We kind of touched on that before. That's just an insane stat by itself, with Luis Gonzalez and Barry Bonds from 2001 being the only guys above him, which, again, boggles the mind. And he's playing Gold Glove defense behind the plate.
Luis Gonzalez's forearms were as big as my quads.
He was a monster back in 01. He was absolutely jacked. Look, this is we're getting now into these guys. He's easily the guy who rose the most here in the first half. for good reason. He's starting the All-Star game. You can also his base SGC 10 first Bowmans are selling for around $450. Rookie Refractor PSA 10s are selling. These are non-autos, by the way,
Right.
of the Chrome Rookie Refractor, selling for $348 at a PSA 10. Obviously, is this a buying situation for Cal? Probably not. But it's a testament to anyone who's been really patient with this guy.
Yeah.
Good on you. It's a guy that every time I would pull him in a break, I would be excited. I loved this guy. I kept telling people, this guy's fun. This guy's really talented. He's really good. In my wildest dreams, did I see this happening? No, absolutely not.
No, I think too, like, has there ever been until now, has there ever been a sell moment for Cal Raleigh?
Never.
I don't know that he's ever had like a peak or a stretch where it was like all the Cal Raleigh I invested in is now going to be sold off. Like, I feel like we are going to see a lot of patient buyers. So like last week we saw Mizorowski, all 5 of his Reds were listed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, gosh, yeah, I can imagine just the color galore on eBay and Card Ladder for Cal Raleigh right now.
Oh, yeah. It's stacking up now.
Yeah, I mean, I got some Cal Raleigh I got to go dig up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even when you see his base rookie refractors are selling for that much, they're selling for almost $350,
Yeah.
you have to go back and look, God, do I have anything right now of his stuff? Yeah, it's the time to sell, because I think even the going into this season, my idea of like best case scenario for his market is 5 years from now, the stats begin to accumulate where he's like been consistently doing 20 to 30 home runs a year, where then you start to realize, oh, wow, he's kind of in rarefied air among catchers. That's cool. He's underrated. And we would probably be in 5 years from now being like, man, Cal Raleigh's got 300 home runs as a catcher. Why are we not talking about him enough? His market is so low, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
But to push him over the edge, he needed this kind of like absolute historic moment that tells you kind of what catchers are fighting against in this market. Is he needed something like this to reach this point where we're talking about $15,000 cards for a Seattle Mariners catcher.
Yeah, he's a pitcher, pitchers totally undervalued in the card market. And again, I'm really looking forward to going over some of his counterparts and guys that we revere, not only in the sport but in the hobby, and then how he's stacking up too, because there's some interesting metrics out there.
So that is kind of the next point here. So where is he among just historic catchers? This guy's kind of on a island of his own, and it's Buster Posey. There's his highest sale right there if you're watching at home.
What a pretty card.
It's a nice card. 2008 Bowman Chrome. That actually even looks like no, that's fine. Yeah, I was going to say, was that like out of a
archives or
archives,
something?
But maybe they
see that stamp on there?
Yeah, that was the stamp that kind of threw me off. But nonetheless, a 1 out of 5 sold in 2023 for $45,600. Very much that same card around that same type of card sold for $33K last year. Still, 25 to $45K for a catcher first red is incredibly rare. Even considering other guys of that era, you can go look at Johnny Bench. I know, like, we're invoking the name of Johnny Bench with Cal Raleigh, which is nuts that he's passing him up. But, that's, again, in its own, that is another tier. His rookie cards, those are vintage, and I think over 100,000 for some of his best graded vintage rookies. But when you look at modern catchers, it does take a huge drop. Joe Mauer, Chrome Gold, his highest, BGS 9.5, Chrome Gold Auto, his highest sales, $9,000. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Yadier Molina probably heading to the Hall of Fame. 2004 Topps Chrome Red X-Fractor. PSA 9, don't think there's a Bowman out there for Yachty. $3,583.
Oh.
A massive
Yachty.
Drop. Yeah.
Man, just got announced that he's going to be managing
Team Puerto Rico. Yeah, that's right. In WBC.
He's probably going to be managing a major league team
at
the
some
next
point.
5 to 10 years, I'm sure.
Yeah. At some point.
Always kind of regarded as one of the better brains, baseball brains, one of the better minds, game managers. Man, that's shocking for Yachty too,
It's pretty low.
because he has an international market too,
Yeah.
or not, I guess,
Yeah.
or not.
I think
but-
it speaks to also that in the hobby we're so offensive minded when it comes to baseball.
Right.
We're so offensive minded, which kind of that. This is a little bit of an aside. I saw. I can't remember what social media account it was. One of the hobby influencer accounts, and they just put up a photo of Julio Rodriguez's baseball reference page and just put what happened.
Yeah.
And I see his page, and it's like 3.6 WAR this season for Julio Rodriguez. He's having a good year.
Yeah.
He's batting like 254, but he's got 11 home runs. He's playing Gold Glove defense. Like, it's just so funny how, like, I look at that and go, Julio's having a really nice year. Wow, I didn't really think about that. But in the hobby, we're like, oh, he's done.
Right.
What happened? His market's tanked.
We wrote off, and we're going to talk about him in a little bit. We wrote off Corbin Carroll last year for
Yes, we did.
a long time.
It's kind of incredible, too, that his market has had such a nice rebound in
Yeah.
the last year.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're right. We did write him off. But what this really says to me about catchers is it's kind of in the same vein as pitchers, where it's like you have to be a true one-of-one for your market to take off.
In the immediate, too.
In the
and then you got to cross your fingers that you end up being a Yadier Molina at the end of your career. And your card is
Right.
for $3,000.
Right. That's what's
Your
nuts.
best card. Yeah.
You have to be a poser who wins 3 titles, who wins an MVP.
Yeah.
That's a one-of-one. But Mauer is the one, too, where I look at, boy, if Joe Mauer had his MVP, let's say a catcher is having Joe Mauer's MVP season right now, leading all of baseball in batting average, hitting 30 home runs, like the heartbeat of an offense. Kind of similar to what Posey did. Like, I think you're looking at that modern catcher having close to Cal Raleigh numbers right now.
If there was another Cal Raleigh, are we looking at catchers? How does Cal Raleigh being such an anomaly right now in the catching department,
Oh, yeah.
how does that affect the market?
I think it's the reason, one of the biggest reasons he is where he is right
So
now.
if we had more, if there were 5 of him, is that not a $15,000 red?
Probably not, because that goes back to like the only comp I have there is like the steroid era where it was like
Yeah.
you forget, like even hearing the names like, oh, the most first half home runs in baseball history. It's Bonds and Luis Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Like a person who doesn't understand that moment in time or like knows the big names, knows Bonds, knows Sosa, knows McGuire, and they might go, wait, who's Luis Gonzalez?
Right.
Why? Or like, oh, he's the guy who won the World Series.
Yeah, he's the
he
cover
also
of-
did that.
Cover of EA Sports 2001 or
There
something.
you go.
MLB,
Yeah, they know him maybe as the guy who won Game 7 of the World Series, but they don't probably know that. Oh no, that guy nearly hit 60 home runs that year.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it kind of devalued that, where like the 5th guy, you look at that home run rankings, and you're like, oh, someone hit 50 home runs. Who cares?
Matt Williams.
that's what we
I
saw.
don't want to get too off track. Matt Williams hit 50 home runs.
Right.
Right.
And we kind of just shrug because it's the era.
Yeah.
You know?
Shout out Matty Will. Gosh, yeah. I wonder, like, yeah, if there were a few more, like, if Will Smith is up to 25 homers, hitting 290, 300, and then you have Austin Wells, hitting 280, 290 with 20 jacks. Like, do catchers get more love? But also, it's like, for the card investment's sake, you'd rather your guy be the only guy doing it,
Yeah.
right? Because you can kind of corner, I don't want to say corner a market, but he's really an outlier. Talk about Will Smith. We talked about rings. Here's, Will Smith is going to be a guy that might have a handful on his hand, and yeah, he's not going to ever sell for $15,000.
He's never going to sell for $15K. No. And it just shows that, one, always remember that individual stats are so much more important for card markets for baseball
Yeah.
than I think any of the other sports. I think football is so championship driven
Yeah.
it's quarterbacks, so it makes sense.
It's like draft slot.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of like unseen value and like you really in like football, I think basketball too.
Yeah.
Now these guys, especially for a quarterback, I mean they're getting the ball every play and stuff. So yeah, it's different. Baseball is very You went 0 for 4. You're going to go down 10%, buddy. Sorry.
Right. Right. Exactly. It's why people are always surprised. Like, why is Mike Trout for years? Why was Mike Trout the number one seller among baseball collectors? Like, well, it's all about the stats.
Yeah,
It's all about what he does on the field. It doesn't matter that he's got as many postseason hits as you and I.
He had like an 8-year stretch where he never finished worse than second place in AL and MVP voting.
Right. Exactly. So this also illuminates sort of, again, the pass catching market, but also the current catching market, where we do have a lot of guys in the minors right now who are coming up. Sam Basallo being one for the Orioles. I've got just a quick look at his market right now via Card Ladder, and you can see right here some of his most recent sales, his top sales, actually just in January of this year, number to 5, PSA 9, sold for $9,000. You can look at 2024 Orange, sold for $7,600. That's a very healthy market still, that he's still, as of this year, it's still selling. Obviously, we know the Adley Rutschman stuff is happening, that he's still there. He's blocking him.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how long that happens. But you've also got Ethan Salas, who's so young.
Yep.
His stuff went down a little bit. I felt like it was very unfair because people were like, oh, this guy clearly stinks. It's like he's 18 and he's in high A, dude. That's crazy.
And just yesterday, so there's even more prospect for Salas here. Just yesterday, MLB updated the prospect list. He's number 3.
Yeah, exactly. So we were all sleeping on him last year.
He's hitting still.
He's still hitting. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was only a matter of time. He was like 18 years old in high A. That is unheard of.
Yeah. I want to say we saw the 9,000 for Sam Basallo.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Yachty.
I know. Well, here, even more.
sorry.
Moises Ballesteros, who was called up by the Cubs.
A dog, by the way.
Ballesteros. May of 2025, around when he got called up. He got sent back down.
Oh, good for him.
$2,000 for the red, PSA 10 on that one, but a healthy market. He's going to be, he's the catcher of the Cubs' future.
Yeah.
We mentioned Salas. Salas's market still was probably, of those 3 guys, the most crazy out of the gate. Did take a little bit of a dip last year, but come on.
It's going to be fluid. That's a guy that's going to benefit from being part of a headline. He's going to move up a level. He's going to go 4 for 4 with 3 jacks or something like that. He's going to be in a headline. He's going to get an MLB app story, and he's going to go up a little bit, as he should. 18.
Yeah. His super sold in 2023 for $36,000. Nothing close to that since.
Yeah.
And this year, this best sale in the last month is $1,000 for an SGC 10 Orange first Bowman. Which tells me, though, a lot of people sold the low numbered stuff early,
right?
And now those people who bought those are holding and now looking at those prospect lists and going, good, okay, maybe when he gets called up, that's where we can maybe see the next level of catcher sales, the Raleighs, where Adley first got called up, some of the crazy sales we saw for Adley as well. But it's a boom or bust market for the catchers.
Yep.
This is not it's you hope that you find a guy like a Cal Raleigh who's like a solid catcher, maybe not as overly hyped as some of these other guys we're talking about, and can just find his place in the major leagues. That's the ultimate win for catchers. Buying catchers at this high a price this early, I think, is always that's a dangerous game to play.
Yeah, Cal doesn't seem like a fluke.
No, he's not.
We talked about some early risers. Adley Rutschman really seemed to be one of the safer plays in the hobby for the last year and a half plus. He's taken a little bit of a hit.
Yeah.
I don't think that Basallo has anything to do with it. However, it will be interesting once they're both up, once Basallo's up. Does Adley go to a first base role? Is he DHing? Are they doing a little musical chairs where they're just doing a little cycle?
Yeah, I'm curious. I don't know.
Is Basallo an Oriole in 5 years?
That's the other thing, is you can't trade him now, especially where the Orioles are at, where the Orioles need to be selling at the deadline, and they seem to be refusing to do that, despite the fact that there are easily 3. That's a 3-horse race in the American League East, and They are so far out of it. Even the Red Sox might even have a chance in that one. But yeah, that AL East is so competitive. They just need to let those guys beat each other up this year and just trade your Ryan O'Hearns, your Cedric Mullins, and be done with it and keep your core guys.
Ryan O'Hearn should have been gone yesterday.
Yeah, maybe you flip Heston Kierstad, guys like that. That's it. Like where you have an influx of talent at a certain position. To me, I mean, yeah, you could say, well, doesn't that count? Doesn't Basalo kind of count in that? But considering where he's at in their prospect ranking, and you have the DH spot, and you have first base, and you have other spots you can use, they're going to find a way to do it. But yeah, you talked about Adley, and we'll kind of go to the guys who are dropping real quick or we'll start with that, and we'll go a little back and forth because Adley's market, to really put it in perspective, like we're loving all these young catchers, loving Cal Raleigh. But Adley's market this year, this is via Card Ladder, his market's down 42% in the last 6 months. His PSA 10 First Bowman Auto, currently valued at $215, which maybe seems still high to some people, but where that card was at even a year ago, that's like, pretty shocking.
Yeah, it seems like half.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
$215 if you want to get the base First Bowman. And you could see, I mean, this is where we were at just a couple years ago. When he got called up, you could see those sales. If you're watching our video, $19,200 for a red back in August of 2022, April of 2022, $18K for an orange. His stuff was on fire for a while.
Yeah, he was getting called like the next Buster Posey and had the regard.
Yeah, exactly.
Had a great rookie year.
And now we're looking at a case where, I'm looking right now a 1 of 1. Now, this is from his Chrome Sapphire. Well, it's a rookie, nonetheless. That's a rookie card. It's still selling fine, but $29.95 for the, I can never say it right, I can never say it right.
I think you just got it. I think that was it.
That was it, right?
I think that was it.
Pad Parasha. I can never say the Pad Parasha right.
Well, I don't know that I did, but
I think you're right. Whatever.
Papadasha. They call them the Papas.
They call them the Papas. They're the Papas. Anyway, so his market. The point being, this guy was the new hotness. His market's down. It's not a total comp here to Cal because him and Cal came up around the same time.
Yeah, Cal was a rookie in 21.
21, yeah.
So, within a year, now their best traded cards for each of them were within a year of being produced. And,
Yeah. It's kind of nuts that if you were to tell me back then that these two young catchers, which one is the future of baseball and,
Well, what would you rather have, though?
Who would I rather have? I feel like Cal is the safer bet.
Yeah.
Because you look at the consistency. Even the thing is, we know what the floor on Cal is right now. The floor is a guy who's going to hit 25 home runs and is going to give you Gold Glove defense. Like, that's the floor. Like, if he has this one season and then just goes back to his floor. Oh, I mean, last year he hit 34 home runs and 100 RBIs.
Yeah.
Like, he still had a great year. Yeah, he's a low batting average guy. Like, that's the other part that I think is so shocking. He's batting .272. He's a career .227 hitter.
He's a better Schwarber now.
Yeah, he's kind of like what they thought Kyle Schwarber was going to be.
Yeah, he's like 30 hitting points better than Schwarber.
Yeah.
And Schwarber's, I mean, everyone, is in on Schwarber.
Yeah, he's a guy that every team would like to have.
Yeah.
Every team would like to have a Kyle Schwarber.
He hits leadoff for, perennial contenders.
Right. He hits 2 singles a year and hits 50 and 40 bombs. It's awesome. He's my favorite kind of player.
Yeah.
He's my favorite type of guy.
Cal Raleigh, I mean, Big Dumper has big nukes. I mean, he hits.
They're big. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is not an easy ball. That's the hardest ballpark to hit in.
Is it really?
All of baseball. Yeah. It's weird. You wouldn't think of it that way.
Wow. Yeah. I never even heard. Wow. Yeah.
But Seattle is consistently now one of the hardest ballparks to hit in.
Wow. Okay.
And to be doing what he's doing, to be doing it as the catcher. So that's why I go with him because his floor, I know what his floor is. Whereas right now with Adley, we're currently learning what his floor is. I don't want to say he's being. I mean, I should really look.
It's a free fall, though.
Yeah, I mean, he is. What's funny is his floor is kind of like a Cal Raleigh season without the power. That's what his floor is currently. So All the hype was around him. I think
Yeah.
Adley's gonna be okay. I think he has a second half comeback in him here. We saw it last year with Carroll that people were just out on him, and then suddenly it's like, oh yeah, we were reminded this guy's still really good.
Is it crazy to think that the Orioles just never make the playoffs while Adley's there?
That's it. They had 2 years and done. That's it. That would be nuts.
Because
What a-
they were
what a
there. They were there
failure.
last year. They were there
Yeah,
last
they
year.
were there
right?
for the last 2 times.
Okay, and they got swept. Was
They
it
got-
wild
yeah,
card
yeah.
stuff?
Well, they went that first year where in 23 where they won 100 games and got swept out by the Rangers, and then last year lost in the wild card. So yeah.
No one was beating the Rangers in 2023.
No. So there you go. The catching market is it's kind of wild. So if you are investing catchers, just find the next Cal Raleigh. That's the advice to do.
Yeah.
Easy, right? We can
Yeah.
all do that. Yeah. But seriously, find a guy who's like this is Bowman in general. Find the guy who's like the 10th most heralded guy in the product.
Yeah.
Don't go after the top 3 guys. If you're buying them, don't go after those guys.
You can probably get good value Dalton Rushing out there somewhere too.
There you go.
You know.
See, there it is. That's the kind of guy. Because who knows? Maybe Dalton Rushing hits 35 bombs in a couple of years, and then we're there. There you go. A couple more of the biggest risers and fallers in the hobby. Let's go over the 2 other notable risers here: Corbin Carroll and James Wood. Both have seen their market take a nice bump. Corbin Carroll is up 81%
Roller coaster.
in the last 6 months. That is crazy to me. It so bucks the trend of how collectors are investing, how baseball card markets go, sports card markets in general. Like when a guy takes that one dip, especially with baseball, that's it. Doesn't matter what they do the rest of their career.
Right.
It feels like it's like it levels up a little bit, but it never gets to those highs again. Carroll is, to his credit, has kind of gotten back to those highs, which good on the baseball collecting community to recognize that this is, yes, one of the most exciting stars in all of baseball. He's a blast to watch. He's hurt right now, unfortunately. But, I mean, he's 5th in the league in slugging. He's 8th in OPS. He's got 20 homers. He's got 9 triples. He's a fantastic player, and he's one of the brightest stars in baseball.
Yeah, 2023 hot star market was on fire. The guy to get. They make it to the playoffs in 2023. I think they won a handful of. Did they make it to the CS?
They made it to the World Series in 2023.
Oh my gosh, that's who the Rangers beat.
The Rangers beat the Arizona Diamondbacks. It feels
Gosh.
like it didn't happen.
It feels like it didn't happen. First half of 24, abysmal, and then his second half of 24, leading into the first half here in 25. I mean, he has been a top 10 outfielder, top 5 maybe, top
He's
5
top
outfielder,
5,
top
I
5
think, yeah.
outfielder in all of baseball. Yeah, I mean he deserves the rise again. He deserves it.
Yeah.
You bring up a good point. Like baseball card collectors, they don't forget.
No.
But we're just living in Corbin Carroll doing Corbin Carroll stuff. Now, if he has another bad half, does he get treated like a Bellinger who has an MVP, but then has a bad half, and people are like, "Yeah, but we remember the second half," you know?
Yeah.
And then even look at Bellinger markets are low.
The thing with Bellinger though is that it was like it's like him post shoulder injury. It's a different player.
Boom.
He's a different player.
As soon as the
Yeah. The moment that happened, the power has been zapped, and he's having a decent, like he's doing okay with the Yankees, but it's not what it was.
Yeah. And then you have the not the Bellinger's old by any means, but Carroll is should be and has the makeup to be so good for so long.
Yeah.
The power has been the best surprise. We know that the triples numbers and the stolen bases and all-star defense as well. The power has been a great surprise.
I think
awesome for the card market.
I think exactly. I think that's part of why there's a lot more confidence in his cards right now. And you can take a look at some of the highest sales since June.
Oh, good Lord.
That orange PSA 10 refractor is $12,000. Again, these are the prices when these guys get called up. He's doing this 3.5 years into his career right now. That to me firmly entrenches him in that elite company with baseball card collectors right now. He's in that Bobby Witt zone right now. I feel like where you saw Bobby enter that zone in the last year and a half, where it's like he's now firmly the third guy for collectors. Maybe an argument by the end of this year, Corbin's the fourth or fifth guy. That guys just feel like that is a blue chip player, a blue chip investment for your collection is a Corbin Carroll. Where you saw the gold sold for $5,400, $5,250. I mean a 2023 Bowman, the rookie red refractor, PSA 9, 44, 27. The list goes on, and that's just in the last month. So good on him. The power's there.
An outfielder in Arizona, is can be a top 5 guy in the hobby. Maybe should be.
One last point about him. What I'm surprised too.
Luis Gonzalez.
Luis Gonzalez. Look up Gonzo, kids. He was good. I think what's interesting too is that there's another guy with Corbin's kind of player profile, Pete Crow Armstrong, who is also taking off the hobby. Another toolsy outfielder, Gold Glove defense, lots of speed, lots of power, and also has the crazy hair. He's got the crazy fun looks all the time. So there's that added element too, where you thought, oh, that's gonna suck away all of the energy from Corbin's markets. Because there's just another guy who's doing it, and he plays for the Cubs, but it hasn't happened. So good on collectors there's a place for both of these guys. You know?
PCA's been so fun, obviously, to watch on the field, but his card market has been incredible.
Insane.
I don't think this was by design, or maybe it was, but 2024 Topps Inception releases, halfway through the calendar year of 2025. And we're seeing some 2024 products pop up. It's like, were you really chasing PCA in 2024? No, you were chasing Shota Imanaga.
Yeah.
So now we're getting these 2024 products and PCA's coming out. It's like, wow, it's incredible. And we're seeing these loaded cases now where it's like you were going to get, maybe a Holiday or maybe a Skeens. And now you're getting a Holiday and a Skeens and a PCA. And these 2024 products are going crazy. And
2024 class is going to go down as really, really special. I mean, we kind of felt it last year.
Holiday and All-Star. Just, Holiday's going to be an All-Star.
He's probably going to be an All-Star. Yeah. You're going to have your All-Star starter, Paul Skeens. You're going to have Ellie's going to be there.
Yep.
Jackson Merrill probably won't be there because of the injuries, but he will be there one day.
Heck of a home run robbery the other day.
That was, yes. It was a really nice catch in Philly.
24 special class. Yeah.
Very special class. Very special.
And it's 2024. We're talking about it in 2025. So, sky's the limit.
A guy who is in the 2025 class for cards, but he was also part of that 2024 class, James Wood, is another guy who is on the rise right now. We're looking at about a 50% growth in his first Bowman PSA. His PSA 9s and 10s autos. Average price for a PSA 10 right now is $651 for a base first Bowman PSA 10 James Wood auto.
Wow.
Just a quick look at some of his biggest sales right now. Since the beginning of June, June 26th, a $16,800 PSA 10 orange first Bowman. You can see there's a red lava in there for $13K. Yeah. Tells me there is a lot more. If you've got some of these cards, you knew out the gate this guy was going to be one of the top guys. Although, I will say, out of 2022 Bowman, with all of these Padre prospects at the time, because he is in a Padres uniform, I felt like even when the trade happened, Robert Hassel was getting a little more of the love, or just as much as James Wood. Hassel's there with the Nationals, but clearly Wood is the heart of that lineup. He's the guy they're building.
Yeah, Hassel, Gore were being talked about way more than James Wood.
Yeah. Abrams, too. I'd say was probably being
was probably the main guy.
He might have been the centerpiece.
What a trade!
Yeah, it's a pretty good trade.
Oh my gosh,
it's a pretty good trade. That's a pretty good trade.
Well done.
Their entire rebuild in one trade.
Yeah, man. Oh geez.
If they could just put some pieces around those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why the Dodgers are winning the
everybody
division every
slams on
year.
the Padres. Padres flipped Juan Soto for Michael King. Let's just put that out there. No, King's been hurt, but they did flip him for Michael King, and that guy has turned into a low-key ace.
Yeah.
So, just
Robert Hassel for sure. Funny aside, is it Robert Hassel and the Jackson Merrill first Bowman image? Do you know about that?
Oh, I do know. I had one. It's Travis Fry.
Well,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's why he didn't sign those cards.
Okay.
That's why you're like, oh, why didn't Jackson Merrill sign his cards till later? It's because he saw those pictures and went, that's not me.
That's not me.
I had the base at a certain point. I think at the end of last year, the base version of that card was going for like $30.
Yep.
So just because it was such an anomaly.
Yeah, pretty collectible card.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so Hassel and then James Wood, kind of a weird hobby guy too, with losing rookie eligibility or losing his status last year, barely or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2024 Bowman Chrome is a red rookie, but not eligible for the red rookie redemption buyback. Right?
Oh, that's right.
Because he can't win rookie of the year.
Can't win rookie of the year.
Jeez. So an interesting hobby guy. I like to see that his stuff's doing well. It should be. He's on my fantasy team.
Me too.
My Lord and Savior.
I got him and Cal Raleigh, by the way, on my team.
Big dump.
I'm somehow in fourth place.
I'm in fifth.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
I got literally these two historic seasons happening, and I'm in
no.
Anyway,
We should have a fantasy baseball
do that too.
podcast.
Yeah,
I think it goes up. I
too.
do not even think we've seen the slightest of James Wood.
I don't think we have.
He was like the 9th most voted for outfielder.
It's so ridiculous. I know. Look,
What?
Kyle Tucker, PCA starting. Totally agree. I get it.
He doesn't have to be a
Ronald
starter.
Acuna Jr. is starting. Granted, incredible run since he's come back. He's been amazing.
Starting with the first pitch.
But I'm sorry, playing the whole season should count for something.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't played. He's played 2 months, not even 2 months.
He's been really, really fantastic too, James Wood.
He's been so good.
So good.
He's so easily the third outfielder to
Bring
me.
up fantasy. He's the number 1 left fielder in my fantasy league, in the total points league.
Yes.
He has 4 hit games. He's having 2 homer games. He's hitting big home runs. He hit a huge walk-off for them just, I think, like 10 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy.
I saw one scout describe him as a left-handed Miguel Cabrera. I'm like, whew.
Okay, big shoes.
Yeah, big shoes.
Because arguably the best hitter of my generation.
Yes, easily.
I'm
I think
not
if you're
trying to date you,
grouping
alligator.
if you're grouping him with Pujols, do you group him with Pujols or is Pujols a generation?
You group them.
So to me it's Pujols and then Miggy. Those are 1 and 2 in my book.
Yes.
Because again it's
Yes, and
but
yes.
you put him. Yeah, I mean
Miggy gets. So it's so weird because it's like I don't want to say apples to oranges, but like Miggy with the Triple Crown.
Yes.
Will forever be a part of every conversation ever.
That's true.
Pujols is the guy, though.
Yeah, Pujols, and I will say though their peaks because Pujols has a peak from 01 to like
it's a 10-year peak.
Yeah, to like 11, whereas Miggy has a peak probably from like 06, 07 to like 15, 16. So there is a little overlap in there, but Miggy does go a little longer.
Yeah, he and Miggy gets that 2003 Marlins bump, right?
Yes, he does. He gets that rookie year where he was on the Marlins. He was just a baby on that team.
Some of the best baseball content to go back to. Those Edgar Renteria. What a team.
Dude.
Josh Beckett. What a team.
It was a good 03 Well, there's some good moments. I know I'm wearing the Yankee shirt today, but I am a Giants fan and don't like to think about that first round very much. But hey.
But yeah, James Wood. Here to stay.
Yeah.
Can't wait. I'm not buying the $16,000 orange.
God, no. Jesus, no.
But I'm buying product to pull James Wood.
That's what it is. The thing is with him, are you buying singles? $630 for a base first Bowman PSA 10? No. But he's got rookie cards in all of the products going forward for this year.
Yep.
And I feel like I'm curious how the Nationals are basically going to be priced. That's what's interesting is I think their price is basically going to be the same from like April to the end of the year because what we were accounting for in like March and April, I'm talking now PYTs and stuff like that, which we do here at Mojobreak. We are accounting for Dylan Cruz and James Wood.
Right.
But I feel like maybe I'm wrong here.
Say it.
That we were placing Cruz then Woods in terms of that ranking.
Yep.
I never agreed with that. I always thought that was unfair. I always was like, Wood is the reason I'm buying the Nationals. Cruz is the throw-in.
Right. He's the fun wild card that could just be as good as everyone thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
Or
now our standards.
You get what you get.
Now our standards are the same. Maybe the Nationals do have a little bit of a bump. But I think, though, you will be surprised. Like, if you look back at the beginning of the year versus the end of the year, their prices and our pick your teams probably going to look pretty similar.
Just wait. Are they going to draft Ethan Holiday?
They might. I want the Rockies to do it just for the, like, hey, there's a holiday on the Rockies. Although I don't want them to be cursed with having to play for that franchise.
Yeah, but that'd
be unfair.
True. Like Charlie Condon, right, going to be coming up eventually. It's fun to see big sluggers in that ballpark.
It is. I
mean, I brought up Carlos Gonzalez last week.
Yeah.
That's a guy I like bringing up.
He was good.
He was good.
That team was fun. That
he hit
017
250 and hit 45 jacks and
Cargo, Tulo. Yeah, obviously Helton, but like I'm going back to those teams. You got your Garrett Atkins.
How about a
Brad Hopp,
Ryan Spilborghs?
Ryan Spilborghs.
Spilborghs.
Yep, hit a big grand slam against the Giants in the 2009 season that essentially ended their playoff hopes.
Yeah.
I will never forget it.
That was a crazy team.
It was those Rockies teams in the late 2000s. They had good teams, kids. They had good teams at one point. Real quick, let's do the couple of guys who have been the biggest drops. We already mentioned Adley.
Yeah.
That one, Adley, unfortunately, I hope he has a big second half, but that's where we're at with Adley. Guy that I am like really scratching my head about is Michael Harris. Currently is, first of all, a value of his first Bowman PSA 10 has dropped by 50%. It's down to $98.
Under $100?
Under $100 for a first Bowman PSA 10, Michael Harris, former Rookie of the Year winner. Part of that is I think a lot of people are just piggybacking last year, which is funny because he kind of did the Corbin Carroll thing last year. Really bad first half, but you look at his second half, he was really good.
Yep.
And
stepped up.
When the numbers evened out at the end of everything, he had a good year. Like he had, I don't want to say a great year, but he had a decent season where you're like, hey, he's 23. He'll be fine. He's going to be okay. Yeah, I think he ended up with a 722 OPS. Again, I'm not saying he had an incredible year, but considering where he started, he had a decent year.
Yep.
He is currently, right now, the second worst qualified hitter in baseball, according to OPS.
Man.
It's tough.
A guy that everyone has rooted for. In some respects, whether it be on the field or in the hobby.
Because it's a great story. He's from Georgia. He's a huge Brave. Like those pictures of him, he's crossing the graduation stage in high school with a Braves jersey on. It's like, this was all meant to be. What a cool story. Yep. And, I mean, that rookie year was incredible for him. He's never quite reached those heights again. And it has now been a very consistent drop-off with year 2 was worse, year 3 was worse, and year 4 he's sort of bottoming out. What do you do here with the Braves? Because didn't they sign him to a big extension as well? They did. They signed him to a very team-friendly extension. This is the thing with this Braves team that is kind of a ticking time bomb, and it's backfiring big time this year where they're 10 games under 500. They have signed presumably they looked like the smartest team in baseball 2 years ago, signing all these young guys to big deals that were ultimately really team-friendly. But now it's like, we're stuck with a bunch of these guys who are all underperforming right now.
Sean Murphy.
Harris
is a good example.
Ozzie is having a down year right now. The only one who's above and beyond is Ronald Acuna Jr., but he's had injury history in the last couple of years. So
did they give Soler a bunch of money at one point?
I might have at some point, but yeah.
I think AJ Smith-Shawver just went down. I don't know they committed a bunch of money to him, but
yep.
Yeah,
Sale's hurt.
a tough year. Yeah.
Swallenbach's hurt now.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking
elbow.
of. That's what I'm thinking of. Schwelly. Yeah,
Yeah.
with the elbow.
He's
Get
down.
well soon. He's a dog. Strider was injured all of last year. Now he's back.
Yep.
Yeah, things just did not align. Michael Harris it's a bummer because again we all rooted for him. Second worst qualified hitter.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Only Brenton Doyle, who also I liked Brenton Doyle last year, but he's not having a good year this year.
I mean, is Michael Harris entering Jared Kelenic conversations where gets committed to cash? Does he get moved around, like change of scenery kind of guy?
Yeah, maybe. The thing with Kelenic is Kelenic never did it at the level that Harris has. Harris has done it.
Harris won a Rookie of the Year.
He won Rookie of the Year.
So
even
unfair
year
to
two,
Harris,
which I don't want even year two, where like he went down a little bit. Still a great year. And again, last year, great second half. That's the hope here.
Is he a Verdugo? Verdugo just got dropped down.
Yeah, I know.
By that Braves team.
I know. It's crazy if you look at the amount of vet hitters are just being casually sent down to the minor leagues right now is kind of wild. I've never seen this happen ever since watching baseball.
An influx of youth being called up.
Yep. That's the economics of baseball.
Yes.
Happening right in front of our eyes.
Ooh.
That's what that is.
What do they call it? Service time manipulation.
That's what that is. And now we're seeing it with guys who are like 34, 35 rather than guys who are 22, 23. Kind of interesting. Even the thing I was going to argue is like, was that second half for Harris last year? If you're looking at like, hey, is buying him cheap right now actually a good move? Maybe. The only thing I'll say about that is we made such a big fuss about how rough his first half was last year. The worst it got was 241 with a 293 on base. I'm looking at a difference. That's 244, 290 on base, 361 slugging. That's the worst it got. Yeah. His current slash line is 217, 242, 328. It's worse.
Oh my gosh.
You could say maybe it's comparable, but to me that's a good 30, 40 points worse in some of those categories.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a worthy buy.
Yeah,
right
it's
even a speculative buy.
So when we started this portion of the conversation, I was like, under $100?
I'm going to get him.
I'm gonna wait for it to slide a little more.
I felt the same way.
I'm not spending $100 on a 217 hitter.
No, I felt the same way. I felt like this actually might be a great buying opportunity, and it still might be. But because he's still only 24, there's still a lot of room here to grow.
Totally.
It could also just be, hey, it's a bad. Everything is just bad right now in Atlanta. It's just not the year. Maybe he turns it around next year.
Yeah, I don't want to add to the pile-on that's happening in Atlanta by just being like, oh, the markets for all their cards are done. They're sell. Yeah. There's probably a correlation there between season and card market.
I would totally get if you heard that number today and went, I'm going to go scoop up some Michael Harris. That's fine. You know what? The stolen base numbers are still there. He's probably going to swipe 20, 25 bags this year. So that's still happening. Yeah. He actually has a positive WAR right now because he's still playing good defense. So there's arguments to be made that maybe.
Not everyone's going to be a Corbin Carroll. No,
exactly. Last one we'll talk about, Luis Angel Acuna, a guy I was never super duper high on. I'll be honest.
I share that sentiment.
Yeah. This is a case, and it's starting to stop a little bit to our credits as collectors. But there was such an influx of recognizable names because of, your brother is a player, your dad played.
Right.
And it started off so hot with Tatis and Guerrero, where you're like, these are still two of the faces of baseball to this day since they've been called up. But yeah, for every one of those guys, now Luis Angel Acuna, hey, it's Ronald's brother. But he's not the same player. He never was the same player. The power profile was never at the level of Ronald Acuna Jr. So it was always a little unfair to compare him. A couple other guys, I know that Ortiz, both of the David Ortiz sons are in Bowman. One is more of a highly touted prospect than the other. And even that, maybe they're getting a little bump. Juan Soto's brother, I know there was kind of like, hey, that's cool. Juan Soto's brother.
Elian Soto.
Never has the same hype around him. But Luis Angel Acuna, for what it's worth, was, I think, at least expected to be like solid glove at second base. Mm-hmm. not a big power hitter, but a guy you could have at a spark plug at the top of the lineup. And just didn't really happen with the Mets. 283 slugging through 65 games is real rough. Got sent down to AAA.
Hitting with a toothpick?
Yeah, no home runs. No home runs in Major League Baseball this year. He had 3 last year in 14 games, so maybe it was like a bit of a mirage.
I remember that. It was like in his first game or something, maybe he hit a homer. They have a guy named Ronnie Mauricio that just got called up too. That's probably the guy that really people should have been talking about, the whole time. I like the family lineage. Those are always great stories. We talked about the holidays earlier.
Yeah. It's fun. It's exciting.
It's fun. It's good for card value.
But it doesn't always – that's the thing. And I think the card value is inflated for Acuna because
I don't
of the name.
I don't think the Mets really right now are caring about him being Ronald Acuna's brother.
No.
Not with that slugging percentage.
No. They just want him to be a ball player. They want him to be a decent – halfway decent Major League ball player at this point.
Which he can be. I mean, you don't make it that far and get to the show for just your name on your back. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
He's a guy.
$80 for a PSA 10 first Bowman
auto.
That's first Bowman auto. $80 for him.
That's a flyer. I might.
He's still just 23. But, yeah, his market's down about 70%.
Seller pays shipping?
Yeah. 70%, which, man, even I know he had a nice, 14-game sample size last year in the majors. 308. He did hit those 3 home runs, a 966 OPS, a 641. Again, these are all super, super short sample size, inflated numbers. Yeah. But clearly that was the wave the market was riding over the offseason. That was bound to come down hard, and it has.
Yeah.
So.
That team's doing fine. Soto's hitting.
Well,
Polar Bear's hitting.
To a point. They've
pitch,
lost
right? They can't pitch.
Yeah, they've lost 14 of 17, something like that.
Oh, gosh.
They are,
I got to stop using fantasy baseball as a reference.
They're in a spiral right now. They are in a bit of a spiral,
okay.
But there's a lot of teams that you could say are in a spiral right now. The Yankees are kind of in a downward spiral. My Giants are at a big downward spiral right now. I think things are just evening out. It's a really competitive league this year. There's a lot of teams that it's just kind of the way of new wild card rules is you've got 2 or 3 teams at the very top and then a bunch of teams that maybe could get 76 wins, maybe could get 88 wins, depending on how things swing. That's kind of where we're at.
Hopefully a busy deadline.
It probably will be. It'll be a great seller's market.
Yes.
Really good seller's market. If
you've
got anybody to sell, that would be the time. Let's wrap things up. We said we're going to get into Leaf stuff, but we're running out of time. Let's talk about the Leaf. We'll table the Leaf minor league stuff for next week when also we're going to have draft on the mind pretty quickly. So it'll be a good time to get into minor leaguers, prospects, all that. Definitely want to dive deep into the 25 MLB draft next week. We'll talk about that then. But for now, let's do the taxi squad. This is always where we call guys up. We send them down, of course, or we put them on the bench. We're buying or selling or we're holding these guys. I want to start off with, we're talking all-stars, Ketel Marte. This is another guy I have gone to bat to for the last few years as such an obvious buy to me.
Yep.
Even before he had a nice breakout year, or not breakout year, but he had good years where I thought, I think he's really underrated. He still is. BGS 9.5 first Bowman auto base in June of 15 sold for $86.
Oh my gosh.
He's in a Mariners uniform. That's part of the reason I think his market doesn't do as well.
Okay.
But I think we need to get over that. That's something. I think there's that excuse is thrown out there.
I'm the weird collector that likes stuff like that. Too.
I don't really care.
I like the Arozarena Cardinals rookie.
Yeah, it's fun. I think that's kind of fun. It was an anomaly. Since 2023, he's got the best OPS among second basemen. He's first in home runs among second basemen. If you want to go even further, he's top 5 among second basemen since 2017. But it's really these last 3 years that have solidified him as the best second baseman in the National League, arguably I'm trying to think arguably the best second baseman in all of baseball at this point.
Dude, he was an August hamstring injury away from winning the MVP.
Yeah, he finished 3rd in MVP.
And he missed the last 40 games of the year.
Yeah. He's Another guy where because of where he plays in Arizona. It doesn't get the attention. I can tell you last night we saw it on full display against the Giants.
Yep.
He hit a 2-run home run to tie in the 9th inning. This is a star. He had a 6.8 WAR last year, 4.9 the year before. In 2019, he has 6.9. He was playing center field. He was playing second base. He does it all. I just think this guy is on a. This is a guy in 5-6 years. We're going to look at his numbers and go, whoa. I don't know if I want to fully say what I was about to say, but like, whoa, maybe we should consider his place in the game. Like, this is kind of nuts how good he's doing.
I want to see how
Hall of Fame votes.
I want to see how he stacks up to like a Chase Utley in a couple years.
Exactly.
Counting stats wise.
Yeah.
I think he's probably like the modern day Brian Roberts at this point with just a crazy peak, but now he's getting votes and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And there's the consistency where Roberts, it was like a 2 or 3 year stretch where now you could go like.
Now, you mentioned 2019 had a 6.9 WAR.
Yeah. That's the thing is like.
Yeah, no, he's in a different league now.
Since 2017, he has been consistently been one of the best second basemen in the National League. And now he is easily the best second baseman in the National League.
How does he stack up to a Howie Kendrick?
Oh, I think better at this point. I think we're now these last 3 years, I think have set him apart. Because you're right. I think he was in that realm of guys who can kind of play all over the field and are really valuable, but are never going to be your best player. It was like Howie Kendrick. Best year for him, 2011, 18 bombs, 802 OPS. Whereas now, we're last season, that kind of was where he was at. Although 2018, he had 32 bombs. So that's the thing I think always setting him apart. And now 25-36, he's got 18 already this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is he Altuve in 5 years? Does he need rings?
I don't know what he needs. I think he's the kind of guy where if he continues to...
Altuve was that MVP guy.
Yeah. Even if he does a repeat of, say, 21 and 22, where he's averaging a 909 OPS in 21, in 90 games. But regardless, like let's say then he's in an 850 OPS, 12 to 15 home runs. Even if he does that after this season, which he's probably going to hit over 30 again.
Yeah.
If he does that for the next 4 or 5 years, I think we're still having a conversation about like, did we all just fall asleep on this guy? Is he actually deserving of a couple of Hall of Fame votes? Like, this is kind of insane. We're having this conversation, and lo and behold, his market is what it is for cards. It's kind of nuts to me.
Yeah, I'm $86. You said or
$86.
Yeah, that's a buy.
Yeah. That said, I think Chase Utley's a Hall of Famer, and he did not. I think he got like 30% of the vote, 25% of the vote. We need to
he ruffled the feathers in his career.
He did.
You know, he might be a guy that benefits from guys like us. You know, voting in 20 years.
Exactly.
Or so.
Second basemen need to be considered differently because it's just there aren't a lot.
The keystone.
They need to be reconsidered differently. Look at his stats as a second baseman. That's always what I say, and that's kind of the argument here with Cattell.
Yeah.
Kyle Stowers. Didn't think I'd be talking about him on this podcast. A guy that I will say when I was doing breaks and I was like selling the Orioles spots for a few years, I always was like, Kyle Stowers is an underrated throw-in if you're buying Orioles the last few years. In 2022, I was basing it all off of a 2022 run. 34 games, 724 OPS, 3 home runs, where I was like, I kind of like the power profile, especially in the minors. He was hitting, I think there's seasons where he hit 27, 30 home runs in the minor leagues. So I always liked the power potential for him. And then kind of bottomed out, became forgotten. And a renaissance year with the Marlins. Like, he is 27. He is a super late bloomer. But 286, 520 slugging, 15 homers already. This is what's the weird part, though, is because he was kind of a touted prospect. Also, shout out Stanford. He's a local guy, so there's that too. No, I think we're biased there too. I'm biased personally. His market is like kind of healthier than you would think, but an SGC 10 Bowman auto speckle sold on June 27th for $190. Probably can get his firsts for very cheap.
Yeah,
I would imagine. Is this going to be a huge bounce? Probably not, but he will almost certainly be the Marlins All-Star this year.
Yep. He's interesting. Opening all that 22, right? 22 rookie.
Mm-hmm. I think he was in 23 Topps Chrome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Throw in, and sorry, Kyle Stowers. Throw in is generous.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, Kyle Stowers, because who are you looking for? You're looking for Gunnar. You're looking for Adley.
I know. Whenever I hit a Stowers on it, I'll be like, hey, man, don't sleep on this guy.
Sure.
I think he's got potential.
Yeah.
Because you got to, sometimes you buy a huge spot and you got to make him feel all right.
And now, I mean, $200 is $200. You're right. That was a good call. Marlins, gosh.
Marlins sell terrible. Let's just be honest.
Jazz Chisholm's a Yankee.
Yeah,
Yelich is a Brewer.
Kyle Stowers is almost certain. I mean, if
Stan's a Yankee.
if the Marlins want to be serious about a rebuild and to continue the rebuild, they need to flip Kyle Stowers for whatever they can get because he will be the number one bat on the market.
He and Ryan O'Hearn are in very similar categories.
It's a great call
right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in bringing it back to cards, an abundance in the card market. You were hitting Ryan O'Hearn like, Ryan O'Hearn, I think it was like 2021 or something like that.
Yeah.
You're like, him and Stowers, they're doing the thing. Yeah, I don't know. Buy, sell, whole, sell.
I think it's a pretty easy sell at this point. A lot of his stuff, but the thing is, there was a lot of big investment in some of his first Bowmans early on. Because again, he was hitting for a ton of power in the minors.
And he was affordable. And it was fun to be like, look, if the Orioles are going to be the Orioles, I'm cool with the 5-hitter.
Right.
I don't have to buy the Orioles by getting Adley and Gunnar. I can enter in that fun, market, and I can have the Stowers.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe that paid off. I bet he was going super cheap.
Yeah, he was a victim, by the way, of the no minor league season in 2020. That's part of why his development and his rise has been kind of strange. Drafted in the 2019 draft in the second round, and then doesn't play. But in 21, just bolts through.
Wait, so they was Adley? Was he 18 or 19? Adley was the first pick.
I want to say. That he was the first in 2019, I want to say.
He was the first overall pick. Was that the same draft, though? 19, right? Because Adley's 19 draft.
Yes. It would have been, Adley would have been their top pick.
Hell of a back-to-back there, Adley and Stowers.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he bolted through the system in 21, played all three levels in 1 year, and hit 27 bombs, 85 RBIs.
Yeah.
So. Last guy, Josh Young. I want to be nice because Josh Young is a friend of the hobby. He's a big friend of the hobby. He's a big proponent of the hobby. He's been doing fun things like where he drew on his card on a one-of-one.
Yeah, little mustaches.
He does these huge events, and I am rooting for Josh Young.
Yeah. But
unfortunately, sent down to AAA. On his last 12 games, a 387 OPS. And overall, 237, 283 on base. Just isn't happening. A guy, too, that I feel like injury sort of derailed what was a great start to his career.
He had a fractured wrist after a hit by pitch.
Remember, he was an all-star, rookie year all-star.
Yep.
Like, this was supposed to be the guy. Just... has wrist problems, which
wrist hamstring.
Yeah, that's a double whammy. This is a clear hold situation. I don't even need to look at the prices right now.
Right.
It's a clear hold right now for Josh Young. Rooting for him. Hope he comes back.
Another tough market, third baseman. We had a tough one today. Catchers, third baseman.
I know.
Talking about some outfielders.
Invested outfielders is really what I learned today.
Yeah,
it's outfield is going to be pretty solid. Trying to see right now an auto for Josh Young, a first Bowman auto. What's a recent sale? It's a number to 499, a PSA 9 that recently sold for $39 for Josh Young. That was a big card not that long ago.
irrelevant, but I don't like that card design. I don't like the border on those.
2019.
cards.
Yeah, I'm not into the 2019 design either.
Fan of those.
I agree. I totally agree.
$39 though.
20
I can become a fan of that card design though.
A PSA 10 in 2021 of the same card sold for $850. This is a PSA 9, but regardless, that's
sorry.
not that.
If you're watching and you bought that, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So,
But dang, I mean, you probably thought you were getting a steal. This guy's an all-star.
Yeah.
World Series, 23 World Series.
There's that too.
He's sitting in front of or behind,
It does speak.
best left-handed hitter in
Yeah.
the game.
It speaks to the Rangers overall right now. They've been really underperforming.
Yeah.
It's really weird that it's the offense that's been the problem when you look at that lineup and you go, how is the offense the problem here when you've got Seager? You've got Seager. It's not really. Seager's not really the problem, but like you've got Adolis.
Well, not
you
lately,
had
but
Young.
Seager. Well, we could talk about Seager. They have. I have Seager.
Like I just tapped into something here, bringing up Corey Seager. That's late in the
4
podcast.
homers in the last 7 games.
Yeah.
He missed about 35 games, I think, earlier with a hammy.
Yeah.
He comes back. Okay. Seager misses this year. He misses 30 games, roughly. Comes back, hits 2 homers, and in his 5th at bat of the game, in garbage time, on another swing, hurts his hamstring again.
That's right.
So he misses another 20-some-odd games. When he's healthy, he's good. His 162 rates are fine. Adolis has been tough.
Adolis is really
He's
that
hitting like 235.
that year for the World Series where I think it was probably his peak year. All-Star that year, 14th in MVP voting, 39 bombs. Yeah, he's batting 232. Even the slugging is under 400 for a guy who needs to have a 450 minimum slugging percentage to bring you value in that lineup.
Yeah, what happened to Evan Carter?
That's the other thing. Yeah, Evan Carter.
He and
Stuff
Josh
like that.
Young, or
Yeah, exactly. I was very bullish on Wyatt Langford to start the season, and he's been all right.
yeah, he's injured right now, but
Yeah.
he's been good.
I was really bullish. I made a crazy Wyatt Langford for MVP vote at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
I thought he had such a good second half that I was like, he's ready. He's ready to make that leap. And
Fun guy to root for.
not quite. So there's
Yeah.
so many names on the Rangers. I realize they have been kind of a main character in the hobby for the last couple of years with Langford, with Carter, with Young.
they're safe in the hobby.
Yeah.
Like, we were talking about PYTs earlier. Rangers they're safe.
Yeah,
They're gonna have that Nolan Ryan throw in.
exactly.
Beltre throw in.
Exactly. You've got big stars. You have big names. DeGrom's having a great year. Good for him. Jack Leiter.
Oh, he was so close the other
I
night.
know. God, it would have been awesome. Jack Leiter having a nice bounce back. So
Vandy Boy and
there's-
Kumar, 2 Vandy boys right there.
There's good stories there. I just don't get how that team isn't hitting. It's wild, and it's not just Josh. I'd say this, like Josh Young, they're sending him down almost as a way to be like, we believe in you and we need you to be good. So we're gonna give you a little bit of a confidence boost here. Go to AAA, find yourself again, find your swing, and come back up.
Yeah.
Be confident. Be the all-star we know you can be. But also the rest of that lineup. The point is, the rest of that lineup also needs to come around. There's a lot of problems on that team.
Yep.
So that is it for the show. Happy 4th of July, everybody. This was a fun one. Next week, draft time. 25 draft is coming. MLB draft. We're going to dig into it. We're going to talk about some of the biggest players coming out of the draft. We'll get into more of the minor league. So a lot more minor league and draft prospects for next week's episode. Should be a good one. Bubba, have a great 4th.
Happy 4th, Cody.
Happy 4th.
To you and the family.
Thank you. Same to you.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. We'll catch you next time here on Wax Packs. Good morning, Joyce.